Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to take a deep dive into the future of business.
Always.
Today we're looking at a really fun episode of the Futurepreneurs podcast.
Yeah, those guys are always bursting with energy.
I know, right? And they've got some great insights into what's coming up in 2025. Think of it like peeking into their crystal ball.
And it's not all just speculation.
Right.
Futurepreneurs always has a really good handle on emerging trends.
They do their research.
Yeah.
So consider this your sneak peek at where the smart money's going. All right, let's jump right in. One of the biggest things that stood out to me was how technology is like stepping up to solve everyday problems.
Yeah.
Like, remember how they talked about AI-powered personal assistants? But not just the ones we're starting to see pop up everywhere.
Right.
It's getting way more specific now.
Yeah, way more specialized. Like, imagine an AI that's trained specifically for healthcare. It could, analyze patient data and flag any potential issues for doctors. Or think about AI for real estate, helping with property valuations and even predicting market trends.
So it's not just like scheduling appointments or playing music anymore. These AIs are becoming really powerful tools for specific fields.
Exactly. And the Futurepreneurs hosts were super excited about the potential for subscription-based AI solutions. Say you're a busy real estate agent. You could subscribe to a service that gives you AI-driven market analysis. It would save so much time and give you a real edge.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like having a whole team of experts working for you all the time. Okay, this next one is super interesting, especially for anyone who, isn't living in a brand new house. Like me. They talked about smart home retrofits.
Oh yeah, isn't that cool? Instead of needing to build a brand new smart home from scratch, people can just upgrade their existing homes with all the latest tech.
So we're talking about things like smart thermostats that learn our preferences, and save energy. Or maybe like super advanced security systems that use facial recognition.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the devices themselves. They were saying there's a huge growing need for installation and consulting services. So you could have experts coming in, checking out your home, and recommending the best upgrades for your needs and your budget.
It definitely makes things a lot easier, especially for anyone who, might not be super tech savvy. Speaking of accessibility, they spent a lot of time talking about remote work. And not just the basics.
Yeah.
This was about taking it to the next level.
Right. They were really focused on the evolution of remote collaboration tools. Video calls are like just the starting point now. We're talking virtual reality meeting spaces, ones that make you feel like you're actually in the room with your colleagues.
Hold on. VR meeting spaces. You mean I'd put on a headset and I'd see my coworker's avatar, like right there across a virtual table?
That's the idea. And you could interact with virtual whiteboards, share 3D models, even have breakout sessions in different virtual rooms. It's getting incredibly realistic.
Wow. I have to admit, that's pretty cool. I'm already picturing myself leading a brainstorming session from a virtual beach somewhere.
And that's just one example. They also talked about how AI could totally optimize workflows, automatically sign tasks, schedule meetings, even anticipate potential problems.
It's like AI is becoming the ultimate remote work assistant. I'm seeing a pattern here. Technology isn't just changing how we work, it's changing how we experience the world. Like, take augmented reality.
Oh, yeah.
It's come a long way from those, first clunky AR apps. Now we're talking about integrating it seamlessly into our lives.
Right. They talked about using it for virtual try-ons in the fashion industry.
Oh, so instead of ordering 5 sizes and sending 4 back, you could see how the clothes actually look on you in AR.
Exactly. It's not just for clothes, though. Imagine visualizing furniture in your home before you buy it, or even testing out different makeup looks without actually putting anything on your face.
That's crazy. It's like having a personal stylist and an interior designer all rolled into one app on your phone.
And for businesses, the possibilities are huge. Imagine brands creating immersive experiences with AR, driving sales, and building customer loyalty.
Sounds like shopping's about to get way more fun. But while we're busy immersing ourselves in these virtual worlds, there's also, this growing awareness of how our choices impact the real world.
Oh, for sure. Futurepreneurs was really big on sustainability and ethical consumption. And it's not just about feeling good, it's become a huge market force.
Totally. Okay, let's dive into that a bit.
Yeah.
One of the things that really caught my eye was sustainable packaging solutions. It feels like every day there's another story about the plastic problem.
It's a big problem, and consumers are really starting to demand alternatives. Futurepreneurs really emphasize the demand for biodegradable, reusable, and compostable options.
So we're talking about things like, plant-based materials that can break down naturally. Or maybe even designing packaging that encourages people to reuse it.
Exactly. They even talked about online retailers switching to reusable packaging for shipping. So you could get your order and then send that same container back with your next purchase. Less waste and a closed-loop system.
That's so smart. Why haven't we been doing that all along? And speaking of smart solutions, they also talked about vertical farming as a way to address the whole food production challenge.
Vertical farming is really interesting. It's basically growing crops in stacked layers using hydroponics or aeroponics. It lets you produce way more food in a much smaller space.
It's like those high-tech indoor farms popping up in cities, right?
Exactly. And futurepreneurs thinks we're just seeing the beginning. They talked about businesses not only selling the food, but also the technology and the expertise to set up and maintain these farms.
So you could have companies offering turnkey solutions, maybe even franchises, making it easier for people to get involved in the whole industry. That's pretty wild.
It is. As we become more worried about sustainability and food security, I think we're going to see a lot more innovation in this area.
For sure. Okay, I want to touch on one more trend before we wrap up this part. Green energy consulting. With everyone pushing for renewable energy, more and more businesses and homeowners are looking for guidance on how to actually make the switch.
And that's where green energy consultants come in. They can help people figure out their energy needs, recommend the right solutions, and even oversee the whole installation process.
So we're talking about everything from putting in solar panels to doing energy audits to figure out how to cut back on energy usage.
Absolutely. It's not just the technical stuff either. It's about educating people, helping them understand the benefits, and making the whole transition as smooth as possible.
It definitely sounds like a field with a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Okay, one last trend before we move on. Ethical fashion. Consumers are becoming way more aware of where their clothes come from and how they're made.
It's a big shift. And it's not just about slogans anymore. People actually want transparency, and they want to know that brands are being held accountable. Futurepreneurs highlighted the huge opportunity for ethical fashion brands to stand out.
So we're talking about companies that are using sustainable materials, making sure labor practices are fair, and being open about their entire supply chain.
Exactly. It's about having values that line up with how you do business and connecting with those consumers who want to make conscious choices.
Sounds like the fashion of the future is going to be all about style and substance. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already. From AI assistants to vertical farms to ethical fashion, it's obvious that some big forces are shaping the future of business.
It's really exciting, and I think this is just the beginning. What's really cool is how all these trends connect to each other. Technology is driving sustainability, ethical choices are affecting how we consume. It's all happening so fast.
It's a lot to think about. But don't worry, we'll be back in a few minutes to keep exploring the world of business in 2025.
Welcome back. Still thinking about all those trends we talked about.
I know, right? It's like the future is unfolding right in front of us.
It is, and we're not done yet.
Not even close. Remember how Futurepreneurs was talking about all those niche markets and how important creative expression is going to be?
Yeah.
Let's dive into that a little deeper.
Okay, yeah. They were really into the whole customizable 3D printed products thing.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being able to design and make almost anything you want.
At home?
Yeah, right from your own house.
So we're not just talking about those, little plastic trinkets you see at, tech conferences and stuff.
No, not at all. The technology has come such a long way.
It has.
They were talking about printing everything from home decor to, one-of-a-kind fashion accessories.
Hold on, so I could, design a vase with my initials on it?
Yeah.
Or print a pair of shoes that fit perfectly.
Exactly. And they think that's just the beginning.
Oh, wow.
They think 3D printing is going to be as common as owning a microwave one day.
Wow, that's a bold prediction.
It is, but I can kind of see it happening.
Yeah, it would be huge for small businesses and independent creators.
Definitely. They were talking about collaborations between designers and, 3D printing experts.
Huh?
Imagine a fashion designer teaming up with a printing company to create a line of clothing that's totally unique and you can customize it.
That's a really cool idea. It takes personalization to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And speaking of finding your niche, they also talked about specialized content creation agencies.
Oh yeah, content is still king, but it's getting harder and harder to, stand out online.
So true.
That's where these niche agencies come in.
So instead of being good at a bunch of things, you just focus on one type of content and become the go-to expert.
Exactly. Like imagine an agency that only makes interactive TikTok ads.
Okay.
Or an agency that's all about producing really amazing educational YouTube videos. If
Interesting.
you focus in on one thing, you get really good at it, and you can attract the clients who are specifically looking for that.
It's like that saying, jack of all trades, master of none.
Right. By specializing, you can become a master.
And that can lead to some amazing opportunities.
Definitely. They were saying these niche agencies could work with big brands, small businesses, even individual creators.
That makes sense.
Help them connect with their audience in a way that's, like, more meaningful.
Cool. Okay, let's move on to something I'm super passionate about, esports.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a hobby anymore, it's like a global thing.
Futurepreneurs is all over that. They're so excited about the growth of the esports industry.
And it's not slowing down anytime soon.
Not even a little bit.
It's amazing to think about how far it's come.
I know, right?
From tiny local tournaments
Yeah.
to these huge events with millions of viewers online.
Yeah, and with all that growth comes a huge demand for, like, esports coaching and training.
That makes sense. Just like regular sports.
You're right, yeah.
People need guidance and support to
Oh.
reach their full potential.
Exactly. Futurepreneurs thinks esports coaching is going to be just as normal as any other type of coaching.
I love that. It's like taking this passion seriously,
Yeah.
giving these gamers the tools they need.
And it's not just about individual players either.
Oh,
They were talking about organized programs and academies where young gamers can train and learn from the best.
whoa, it's like the minor leagues for esports.
Yeah, exactly. I can definitely see that becoming huge in the next few years.
Me too. Okay, let's talk about one more industry that I think is really cool, pet care, tech, and services.
Ah, yes. The pet industry is just exploding right now.
It is.
And it's not just about basic stuff like food and shelter anymore.
No way.
Pet parents want the best for their furry friends.
They're practically family these days.
Exactly. And Futurepreneurs had some amazing examples of technology making life better for pets.
Oh, like what?
Smart collars that track your pet's activity and location.
Okay.
Subscription boxes with personalized food and treats.
Wow.
Even high-tech pet doors that use facial recognition to let your dog in and out.
Wait, facial recognition for dogs?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
It's just one example of how pet care is becoming so much more advanced and tailored to each pet.
Yeah.
They also talked about luxury pet boarding services with things like private suites and gourmet meals, even spa treatments.
Spa treatments for dogs.
Yeah,
Seriously.
so right. But it makes sense. Pet parents will pay top dollar to make sure their pets are happy and healthy.
So true. So from high-tech gadgets to fancy services, it sounds like the pet care industry is going to be huge.
It is. It's a perfect example of how businesses can tap into these niche markets and really focus on specific needs.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From 3D printing to content creation, esports, and pet care tech, it's clear that the future of business is going to be full of exciting possibilities.
It really is. And what I think is so cool is how all these trends connect to each other,
Yeah.
Like from the first part and this part, it's all connected. Technology, sustainability, focusing on individual needs, it's shaping everything.
It really is. It's a pretty amazing time to be alive. I'm curious, what do our listeners think about all these trends?
Yeah, good question.
Which ones are you most excited about? Which ones do you think will have the biggest impact?
Yeah. And don't forget, the future isn't set in stone.
Right.
We're all creating it together through the choices we make and the things we do.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And speaking of imagining the future, we've got one more segment coming up where we'll, kind of step back and look at all these trends and what they might mean for you, the listener. And we are back for the final part of our deep dive. I don't know about you, but my head is spinning with all these amazing ideas.
It's a lot to take in, for sure.
But that's what's so cool about it. The future is full of possibilities, and it's really up to us to decide what we want to do.
I agree. And that's what I loved about this Futurepreneurs episode. It wasn't just about predicting the future.
Right.
It was about getting us to think bigger, bolder, and be more creative.
Yeah, to get inspired.
They did such a good job of showing us just how many opportunities are out there, from the high-tech stuff like AI assistants and vertical farms
Yeah.
to the ideas that are more grounded and focused on people, like sustainable packaging and ethical fashion.
And those niche markets, too.
Yeah.
Customizable 3D printing, content creation, esports coaching. It shows you that you don't need a huge corporation to make a difference.
You really don't. Actually, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is that the future of business is all about specialization, personalization, and really understanding your audience.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, hopefully you've had a few light bulb moments. Maybe some new ideas are popping into your head and you're feeling a bit more optimistic about the future.
I'd say it's a call to action. Don't just wait for the future to happen.
Right.
Go out and make it happen. Do some research on the things that sparked your interest. Try out new tech, connect with people who get it, and see how you can shape the world you want to live in.
And hey, maybe one day we'll be talking about your business idea on a future episode of The Deep Dive.
Now that would be awesome.
So tell us, which future are you most excited about? Let us know. And until next time, keep diving deep.